Smile. All right. So, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You're right on time. You're early, actually.
I'm
right?
trying.
I told people 1:30, so I was hoping they'd be out here waiting, right?
Good.
You know.
Nice.
But I'm here with my friend Don Ash, the Honorable Don Ash, right? And I wanted to bring him in because, well, I've known Don for a long time, and I consider you a community leader. You may not consider yourself that because you're very humble, but I think a lot of people look up to you, and you have a lot of influence and stuff. And so that's why I wanted to bring you in and introduce you. But then this law school thing got into the news.
Sure.
And I saw your name on the list of people who wrote letters,
I did.
whether for it or against it, but you're on the end. So I was like, I would love to find out how he feels about it and things of that nature. And then, and I was tempted to ask you before we got on camera, but then I was like, no, I think it'd be better for me if I just wait and see what happens.
Cold.
Yeah, right. Just take it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll just jump right in there, and then I'll circle back to some other questions I have.
Sure. So you want to know what I think?
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Well, I'm an MTSU guy, and
Okay.
I love MTSU.
Sure.
And for me, MTSU gave my mom a college scholarship. She got her teaching degree there, and she was an older student then. And so I love that. And then both my brother and I went there. And so the university has been really kind to me and my family. And so I'm thankful for that. And obviously, as a lawyer and a judge now, I had an interest in this. I went to the University of Memphis Law School. And that was a long time ago, probably before you were born. It was 1977 when I started.
I was born.
Oh, okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make you feel better. So, but then Memphis had only been in existence, the law school there had only been in existence for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And so when I told people I was going to Memphis, they go, why don't you go to Knoxville? Why don't you go to UT? And Memphis was kind of like a secondary school.
Sure.
Or kind
Because
of
it's brand new.
Yeah, kind
right?
of looked down.
Yeah.
But somebody gave Memphis that chance. And now Memphis is probably, I'm not sure it's better than UT, but it's certainly equivalent to UT.
It's a great school, sure.
And we have 2 members of the Tennessee Supreme Court that went to Memphis.
Oh, wow.
And our law school, which is on the banks of the Mississippi River, is spectacular. So somebody gave them the chance. And the reason I thought this would be a good thing, a couple of reasons. One, our numbers in Middle Tennessee are continuing to grow.
Mm-hmm.
West Tennessee, the population is decreasing. And East Tennessee is kind of increasing, but not at the same rate as Middle Tennessee. Also, MTSU has a great political science department. Their mock trial team has consistently placed nationally for the last 10 years.
Oh, my.
And so there's a base there.
Sure.
Now, to make a law school work, you have to have about 100 students per class. So first, second, third year.
I see.
So you have to have about 300 kids to make it work.
Right.
And so that's the goal to get there. But I think you could easily get 30 or 40 from MTSU.
Just from the school itself. I agree.
Yeah. So it seemed to me, and plus the other good thing was if they had a professional school, the funding for every student there would change. MTSU would get more money to run that school.
I see.
And state money has dropped dramatically over the last 10 or 15 years. So every dollar that we get there would help those MTSU students. So I thought it was a good thing. They had a building available. They had this arrangement with Valparaiso, and that's not a home run.
Okay.
Valparaiso basically is a school in the process of shutting down.
I see.
But they do have a library,
okay,
which is crazy because now all the research I do is all online.
Of course.
So, but the ABA requires you to have a library.
I see. Okay.
Even though today we do all our research online.
Right.
And full-time faculty. And so that accreditation would have passed to MTSU. Don't know if they could have kept it, but it would have passed there.
I see.
They would have had that opportunity. So you would have had an accredited law school, Middle Tennessee area, non-private. Belmont and Vanderbilt are both private.
Right.
Their tuition's about $40,000 to $50,000 a year. This would be between $15,000 and $20,000
Big
a
difference.
year. Nashville School of Law is unaccredited, but they still their tuition is only $5,000 a year, but it's for night students.
Right.
So that's a different spectrum. I teach there. Many of my students work all day. You can't do this in that type of environment.
Right.
So so it seemed to me it would be a good thing. That would be good for the university, be good for Middle Tennessee, be good for the legal profession. But that's just my opinion. And obviously 8-5, the THEC members didn't
right.
agree
They didn't.
that.
Yeah.
And that's
only 2 votes away.
That's certainly their
right.
call.
It's only. I mean, it's 8-5 sounds like 3 votes, but really you swing 2 and it's
Yeah,
yours, you
you're
know?
right. You're right.
And I thought it would be great because I got my MBA from MTSU, and like Memphis has a great program where they tie that with the JD, right?
Exactly.
And law school produces a different kind of student than an MBA does, right? And so you tie that together, it just makes for a really powerful combination.
That's exactly what I thought. Some friends of mine said, we don't need any more damn lawyers. And I go, okay, I'm a lawyer. I won't take offense at
Yeah.
that. But the legal profession is changing, or it's going to have to change. Not everybody is Perry Mason. You probably don't remember, but he was a lawyer on TV.
I like the suits.
Okay. Yeah. Or Matlock.
Right. Or maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
Matlock.
My bad.
Yeah. But the law profession has got to change because what you're right. We have a great business school, Jennings Jones School of Business over there. Be great to have an MBA program that connected those two. So when you came out, you went into a business like a big corporation.
That's right.
Become there.
Exactly.
I think we need to get away from the mindset of saying everybody's going to go out of law school is going to go out and be a litigator, because that is not reality.
No, but we live in a world where laws matter, right?
Right.
And so if you get that background in it, you can understand the laws better and help businesses do better.
I tried to get my son, who sells insurance, I tried to get him to go to law school when he was in Ole Miss, and he said, "Why would I do that?" I said, "Because if you're selling insurance and you have your law degree, you're a lot more marketable."
Totally.
Education. We have a great mass comm department. We could tie that into the law school. We have a great aerospace thing. We could tie that into law school. National Health Corporation here with nursing home law or medical stuff. We could do.
It's a no-brainer.
We could do specialties where you train people.
Right.
Their first year or two, it's kind of like medical school. The first year or two, just basic stuff. Then you go into a specialty thing, not to go out and be a litigator, but go out and help in healthcare or health in medical or mass comm or music or whatever the thing is.
Yeah. No,
But we'll see.
How much trouble is it for MT to just start a law school?
They could.
Is that an option?
They could.
You still need state approval because it's a state school, right?
You would, but people have told me it'd be easier if you did do it just on your own, which is
okay.
So don't understand. But so much of this stuff is, I hope you can't hear my phone ringing, but so much of this stuff is just timing.
Yeah.
Right. At the right time or the right people on the committee.
Right.
Because I heard that there was, and this is all gossip, I heard that UT Law School and Memphis Law School were against it because it would hurt their numbers. It might.
Sure.
It might.
Yeah.
But are we interested in helping citizens or helping numbers at those two places?
Great question. Yeah. Right.
You picking?
No.
You tell me what the answer is, because I like I said, but MTSU is going to be fine. Dr. McPhee's an excellent president. We have great Dr. Burns, I think, is the provost up there. We have great faculty. The school's growing. Good things are ahead. But like I said,
the Jones College is
incredible,
going crazy.
Yeah.
So
and
so I don't even call it MT anymore, right? You just call it the Jones College.
Yeah,
so.
But it's a great place. Great kids are going to come out of there, and so it'll be fine. Disappointing, but life's full of disappointments. Just how you handle them after you face them.
That is a great segue into let's learn more about Don Ash. All right. Have you had any disappointments, any setbacks?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Anything you care to share with me and the rest of the world?
That's interesting. I think, I applied to be appointed to the Tennessee Supreme Court several years ago.
Okay.
And didn't get it.
Wow.
And it hurt my feelings because
Sure.
I wanted to be on the Tennessee Supreme Court. And so I was watching it one day. And Reed and I, the Tennessee Supreme Court had come down here they have like a meeting.
Okay.
And so when they come to Murfreesboro, they asked me where to go eat. So I made them reservations. And so Reed and I, we were at Five Senses. And so we went by there to check and make sure they were fine. They're fine. So we're sitting at a table, and Rita says, "Who is that person sitting on the end there?" And she knew exactly who the person was. I said, "That's Justice Clark." And she goes, "That's the position you applied for." I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Would you rather be sitting over there, or would you rather be sitting here as a senior judge for Tennessee?" I go, "I'd rather be sitting here." And she goes, "Valuable lesson."
Wow. Yeah. So something that you really wanted.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Sometimes what we want, there are other plans out there for us. And I think you have to be flexible enough not to get so disappointed or so down when things don't go the way that you want, and look for other opportunities that would open up for you. Because I do think that happens. Because I think There's a great movie, I think it's called Parent something, with Steve Martin, and the lady and the one of his son is autistic or has some issue, and they're getting ready to have another baby, or she's pregnant, and he's upset about that because he doesn't want to have another baby because parenting is so hard.
It is.
And his grandmother comes in there, or his grandma, and she talks about that some people like the carousel, just to get on the carousel and just ride it, and they enjoy that. But some people like the roller coaster, to get on the roller coaster and have those ups and downs, and that roller coaster ride adds flavors to your life. And so I think that's true.
And so
I think my life has been more of a roller coaster, and I've sat back. I've enjoyed the roller coaster.
That's good.
I've enjoyed the roller coaster more than I would just being on the carousel going round and around.
I like that. That's awesome. That's really great. So let's see. So you're from Middle Tennessee, right?
I was raised in Lebanon.
Lebanon, right? And so you go off to law school in Memphis.
I did.
Why'd you come back?
I didn't want to stay in Memphis. I'd always planned on going once again, a disappointment. I'd always planned on going to Lebanon and practice law.
Okay.
One fella who early on had promised me a job when I got to law school. I wrote him when I got ready to get out. I said, I'm getting ready to go to law school. Got an office ready for me. Never wrote me back. Never called me.
Okay.
And so I called. Never called back. Very strange. So I checked around with some folks, and nobody in Lebanon really offered me a job that I thought was good enough. And so a fella here posted a job and it was posted up at Memphis. So I came here, interviewed with him. He offered me a job, and I knew Murfreesboro because I went to school here. I think that's why a lot of people that go to MTSU stay in Murfreesboro.
Sure.
Because they find out what a great community it is.
That's right.
Yeah. So did that, and then stayed there only about 8 or 9 months. And a really fine man named Dave Bowen, who's now deceased, lived in Smyrna. He offered me a job to come down there with him. I did. He liked to do real estate. I like to do trial work. So trial work that came in, he gave to me. He'd been practicing for like 20 years. Any real estate that Rita had, I gave to him. So that worked out fine. And I was there for, a year or two. And then Ken Berger and Frank Fly and Ben McFarland had an office over here on Lytle and Spring. And it was an old house they redid. And they were young and very successful, very ethical. And I thought that's the way I want to practice law. So they offered me a job, took it, loved being there. I was there for about 4 or 5 years, and then opened my own law firm right across the street. And I called Dave Bowen, my friend. And so he and I did the same thing again. He had the office in Smyrna, and I had one in Murfreesboro, and started practicing and, practice law. In 1992, once again, disappointment. 1992, I ran for state representative against a Republican incumbent, Mike Lyles, nice guy, and then lost. It's like a 20,000 votes. I think I lost about 300 votes. It was really close. Really
Heartbreaker.
Close. Yeah. But the judge thing comes open in 94, and some people say, you should run for judge. I said, I don't really want to be a judge. I don't really like judges. I like being a lawyer, and I want to be governor one day. And they said, well, people may feel sorry for you since you lost the last race. Maybe they'll vote for you this one. So I ran and won. Yeah. And it turned out to me to be one of the most unbelievable blessings in my entire life. I got to do a drug court for 14 years. I love being on the bench. Got to write the parenting plan law. I mean, just all kinds of great things. And like I said, I guess that's one life lesson I learned. That you have to be flexible enough that when you take the body blows, that you still get up. And Rita, that's after I lost that election, I just wanted to stay at home. And Rita said, nope, you need to get up, go out, go back to work, be out in the community like you always are. That's the person you are.
That's right.
I said, yes, ma'am. So I got out. But because of that, I get to do this, which is crazy. Crazy, right?
But that's how life is, right?
It is, but it's crazy. You have so many blessings and so many opportunities. If you'll just be quiet, be kind to people, don't be judgmental, and just love life. If you do that, great things will happen. It won't be perfect. It won't be all ice cream and chocolate sauce. There'll be some dill pickles in there somewhere. But if you just sit back, it's just an amazing, wonderful life. It really is.
What do you consider your greatest professional accomplishment?
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That'd make you think. I mean, you've done a lot, We've just run through your professional life here. And so
I don't know. I mean, I think my greatest professional accomplishment is I've tried to honor my family, my friends, by my actions.
I see.
So if I've done that, I'm not sure I have, but I've tried to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud that I've done. When I was a criminal court judge here through 2012, I'm proud of the work I've done on the bench there. I mean, I had some ugly cases,
Yeah.
high-profile cases, and very, very few reversals. And so I'm proud. I'm proud of
Okay.
that. I'm proud of the parenting plan that's been the law in Tennessee now for 20 years. And I basically wrote it as part of a thesis I was doing for the law school. And then 100, 200, 300 people worked on it. That's Reasons to Law. So I'm proud of that. But I'm really proud. I think my children are proud of me.
Yeah.
And if I can keep that up, I'm 63, pretty good health. If I can keep that up till the end of this road, then that's a good legacy to leave
think
behind.
so.
Yeah.
And I know your children, and they are proud of you. And I think I knew that if I'd ask you what's your most proudest thing, like it would be like your kids and your family and
they're
stuff.
fun.
So that's why I put the professional thing on there.
They're fun.
So
They're fun. But like I said, professionally, I would like them to, when I'm gone, I'd like them to say, you know what, Dad was a good judge. For you to say I was a community leader, I don't think I'm a community leader, but if they thought I was, that'd be really good.
I bet they would think so, for
Proud of
sure.
the Boys and Girls Club too, though. Been involved with that for a long time.
Right?
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. How'd you get involved in that?
Crazy. That when I was little, my dad had passed away, and the guy named Homer Sparks ran the YMCA in Lebanon, and it was a terrible YMCA. They were in a terrible building. They didn't have any facilities, but he was kind of a very kind man to me, and he allowed me to be like a camp counselor, and then I ran the camp. Then I was a lifeguard. Then I ran the YMCA swim pool. So it gave me a job throughout all that issue. So then I come over here, early 1980s. I came here in 1980, and Brian Hercules, you know Brian?
I do.
Joe Swanson.
Yeah.
There was another fellow, I want to say his last name was Kennedy, but he was with United Seas Gas. There were four of us. For some reason, they called me and asked me if I'd be interested in meeting with them to talk about a Boys and Girls Club. I said, sure. So we met at Nice Hoover Paint Store. Used to be the United Seas Gas. So we met in there, the Flame Room. Why anybody would name any room a Flame Room, but they did. We met in there and talked about it. And then we had a guy from Nashville, the regional office, come down. And then a guy named Charlie Fincham, who ran the Nashville club, came down.
Okay.
And then we just started it.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, our first budget. Budget now for that's like $2 million.
Yeah.
When we first started, it was $50,000, and we had no money. We finally got to be a United Way agency. I love telling this story. We're going to be a United Way agency, so we're going to start getting a check in January. So we had hired Steve McKinney. I don't know if you know Steve. Steve was our director for about 15 years. So we hired Steve. So it's probably like September, we ran out of money. We had no money.
Wow.
And Steve and his wife and kids had moved here.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So I figure out, I don't know if I was president, I was something. Somebody told me. So I was going around to all the board of directors to ask him if they would chip in money for the next 3 months to help pay Steve.
Get us
till we got our United Way money.
Right.
Yeah. So the first place I go is the Coca-Cola plant here. It's no longer here.
Right.
Jeff Davis, you know Jeff.
I do.
I go in there and talk to Jeff, and I go, Jeff, out of money. I'm going around seeing if anybody will chip in each month so we pay Steve till we get our money. And he goes, how much you need? I go, well, I need $1,000 a month. He goes, come by the first of the month, every month. So he did that.
Wow.
And never told a soul that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
It says something about Jeff Davis.
Yeah, right.
And then the other thing, part of my time there, I wanted to start an endowment.
Okay.
We had no money. So I'm talking to some married people. So I'm talking to Jeff. I said, yeah, I want to start an endowment. So one day we'd have enough money in there. If something happened, we could fill in the gap. He goes, I'll put in 5,000. I go, okay, because nobody else would put in any.
Right. Some seed money.
Yeah, he put 5,000. That thing today, there's $750,000 in there.
Wow, that's awesome.
And now the two facilities that we've got, the Boys Club here in Murfreesboro and the one in Smyrna, they serve more kids in each club than any other boys club in the state. We're bigger than Memphis, bigger than Knoxville, bigger than Chattanooga.
Man, all because 4 dudes got together.
4 dudes sat together in a flame room and said, hey, let's
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I mean, I really think that little things like that are what makes Murfreesboro so special, because you're not the only one with stories of people getting together going, hey, we see a problem.
Yeah.
We're going to solve it. You know.
Yeah. Another big thing, though, that has helped us and helped our community is the Christy Houston Foundation.
Yes.
When they sold the old hospital over here, they had a bunch of money left over because it was nonprofit. they put it in the Christy Houston
Mhm.
Foundation, and that foundation has managed that money so well that every year they put money either back into the hospital
Right.
to pay for high dollar stuff or to pay for things like the Boys and Girls Club, the Salvation Army, special kids. You know, I could name
Yeah, I mean,
100
the
of them.
list is
Yeah.
super long of where they
Yeah.
give money now.
And Bill
Yeah.
Jones is their chairman, and they got great people on there like George White. I mean, really, and Ann Davis is the director of it now. I mean, that for me at Christy Houston Foundation, with the money they put in, has changed more lives in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County
Right.
than anything. I think it's an
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
But it's
Totally.
Murfreesboro.
Right. Yeah.
Murfreesboro, you know,
Uh-huh.
good place to live.
It totally is a good place to live. Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm here, babe.
Oh.
Anything you want to talk about?
Well,
How's real estate?
real estate is a tale of two markets right
Yeah,
now,
it
right?
is.
You know, so if you've got a house that is small, you can sell it. We can
Quick.
sell it quick, right? But if it's a bigger house, it's taking a little bit of time. But what I ran the numbers, the absorption rate right now still says that it's a buyer's market.
Really?
There's just we're seeing a dip in both sellers and buyers seasonally. And so I went to saw Edsel Charles speak last week and or earlier this week, and he said, you know, full speed ahead till 2020 at least.
Really?
Yeah. So look out.
I hope he's right.
Look out. He
right.
was like, you can build anything right now. We're short on everything,
That's-
according to the numbers.
Yeah, yeah,
Even $1 million homes we're short on.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy to me. But
yeah.
you know, so
Yeah, well, Rita's done. I'm very thankful. Rita's in the real estate business and has done a good job and helped me maintain a lifestyle I've grown accustomed to.
right.
I married over my head.
That's
Just like you, right? man?
just like me, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So election season is upon us.
It is.
Right.
It is.
How do you feel about? I mean, they say turnout is up. I don't know about for Tennessee, but
Yeah.
nationwide turnout is up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I always relied on that 538 poll,
Right.
and I looked at that almost every day in the last presidential election, and they were just completely wrong. I mean, they were completely wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very interesting time. I don't think Tennessee is going to change dramatically. I think it's still primarily red.
Sure.
State.
Yeah.
I think Carl Dean will have a difficult time
Yes.
against Bill Lee. If there would have been a further right candidate than Lee, then
He would
Carl
have
Dean would have had a better chance.
much better window.
Yeah, because Bill Lee seems like a really nice man to me. He's really not a policy guy.
No.
If you look about issues, I'm not sure.
He doesn't have a lot.
I don't know what his issue.
Right.
I don't know what his issue.
I know.
I really don't know. But I know he's seems like a nice man.
Yeah.
And obviously a good businessman.
Successful
So
businessman.
that's good.
Right. Yeah.
And then Carl Dean certainly did a great job in Nashville. What he did.
Sure.
But I'm not sure that's enough to move really East Tennessee Republicans. The way Bredesen won the governor's race he moved East Tennessee Republicans towards him.
Right.
I'm not sure Carl Dean can do that, but who
Yeah.
knows?
I thought Fitzhugh would have been a better candidate against Bill Lee because of his touch into the rural areas.
Yeah. Well, the reason he would be a better candidate would be because the Democrat would carry Nashville anyway.
That's right.
And that might open up an avenue in West.
That's what I was thinking.
Which historically was a longtime Democrat, but now is moved more Republican. But yeah, if you could that's a good point. You could move Democrats from Memphis and develop a base of Democrats in West that might offset the East. Yeah.
That's what I and I met both of those guys at the Blackman barbecue, and I felt like he was just a way better politician, just better one-on-one, shaking hands, kissing babies.
Fitch's done it for years.
So
he's he's a lot
polished.
More, he's a lot more personable.
Maybe that, yes, right.
You know? I think that's sometime I would love to sit down with somebody really wise, and maybe you, to figure out how Diane Black lost that race. To have that name recognition and that money,
right,
and not being able to carry the day. And same thing with Randy Boyd. I mean, I've met Randy Boyd. I thought he was very nice.
Yeah.
I've known Diane for 20 years, and I was really, I really, it was really the perfect storm for both those candidates. For Bill Lee to come in.
That's right.
As the more
they split
rational.
That vote up, right?
He came out as the more rational of the two. So I thought that was interesting. Senate race, I really don't see Bredesen winning that, but all my friends tell me they will. But I don't see it. I mean, I think Marsha Blackburn's ads, while I don't agree with many of them, I think they're very good ads. Who's ever done?
She's got some gun ones running right now.
I've seen those.
Yeah, right.
Those, but
I was like, wow.
Yeah, but she's done some very good ads, and And Brett's whole campaign is, if you're tired of the lunacy
Right.
up here
Sure.
and you want to step away from the craziness, then
So,
I'm your guy.
Yeah, it's a total it's definitely an election about Trump is what they've made it
Yeah,
into.
exactly.
No doubt,
Exactly.
right?
I think that's it.
And so,
Which is interesting. I think that's
I can't wait to see what the results are from it. Because
I don't
it'll
know.
give you a pulse on how Trump is doing in Tennessee.
Yeah,
In my
and
opinion.
I think he'd be doing. I think Trump's doing fine. I'm sure he's over 50% approval rating. I would guess.
It probably has to do with turnout. Really, I think that Trump is way more popular in rural areas than he
Really?
is in the cities and
That's
urban
interesting.
areas.
Well, I know stuff I read says he's not popular in suburbs,
Sure.
female suburbs.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, females normally vote Democrat, and so
They
they
didn't
could.
last.
Yeah.
They didn't last time.
No, that right. In that election, that they're the ones
Yeah.
that
Well,
swung it, really,
white,
right? Yeah, white.
white educated females voted for Trump last time,
Right, way more than they expected.
and they say that they're not going to this time in
Yeah.
these different races. So that'll be interesting to see. So I don't know. I used to love politics and used to love going up to the state house of representatives. I used to love going to DC, and I still like going to DC just to see the monuments and the history and that stuff. But today there is such, and it's just not all Republican. There's such a thing of hate and rudeness, and
It's the '60s all over again.
it's terrible.
Right?
It's terrible. I think it goes back further. I think it's Andrew Jackson.
Well, maybe
Except
so.
they didn't have
Yeah.
CNN and Fox and
Right.
24 hours.
Stir it constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they had that, but it's the same kind of hate-filled speech.
Wow.
And so that's disappointing.
It is.
I hope that will change, but it may be not in my lifetime.
It may have to get much worse before it gets better.
Yeah,
sadly.
Sadly, what it may have to be is not just get much worse. There may have to be some national, worldwide disaster
to pull us back together.
To pull us back in. I mean, I think Bush had that opportunity with 9/11.
Totally.
I think he kind of dropped. I think he did well for about the first 2 or 3 months. Then kind of dropped the ball for some unknown reason. Certainly, FDR with World War II and the Depression. Kennedy with the moon. And all that whole stuff, idea, but all that was tied into him getting assassinated. That kicked everything into high gear.
Totally right. Gave you the mandate.
We gave you the Civil Rights Act. You would never have had. You would eventually, but you never would have had the Civil Rights Act, NASA, all that stuff happen with Johnson, if not for Kennedy's assassination, and it just kind of super whatever the stuff. So.
I think you're right.
Interesting time to live in.
Totally. I have been listening to a podcast about Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
And just really now just hearing his speeches for the first time and learning about this guy. And I've been just like, wow, talking about the kind of guy we need today.
I just finished reading it. Not finished. Chris Matthews wrote a book about him.
I've heard about it. Right.
I've read that. Really, really interesting.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that he was he was perceived as the cutthroat guy when John Kennedy was running.
Right.
John Kennedy would go glad hand you, and then Bobby Kennedy would go behind. Cut you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so that's why Johnson and Bobby Kennedy didn't get along, because Johnson been cut a couple of times. And then Johnson conflicted because Bobby Kennedy didn't want Johnson to be vice president.
Okay.
And so when that happened, that kind
of wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you need to read.
I'll read that next then. Yeah.
Yeah. But really a great. It's so funny. He evolved into a really good speaker too. He was really not very good at the beginning.
Really.
One of my favorite speeches that he gave was when, and it's kind of applies today, when Martin Luther King got killed.
Yes.
And he was speaking to a primarily black group.
That's right.
And he announced that. And you could hear the gasp.
Yeah. I was listening to there was an interview about somebody that was there, and they said that it was like the news traveled through the crowd, right? Because everybody's excited, and then he mentions it, and the front knows it, in the middle, and then right, and then
And then what he said about that was that our country was more than that.
That's right.
That this one person is not who we are.
Yeah.
And that people need to.
He might have saved the country right there, man. He might have saved all kinds of awfulness.
Well, there was a lot of bad.
Yeah.
I remember you were not born then, but
no, I wasn't. But from what I've read,
so you were born in '68.
I was born in '77.
Wow.
So
okay, yeah, '68. I remember it well. I was a little boy in Lebanon.
Okay.
And people were afraid.
Sure.
That there were going to be riots in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Wow.
Nuts.
That is nuts, but it's just how we're wired to worry about things. Well, thank you for making time to come in.
Good seeing you.
I really appreciate it.
You're the man.
And I hope people have enjoyed getting to know you a little bit. And so, is there any way for people to get in touch with you if they want to talk further with you on these things?
Call you.
Call me and I'll put you in touch with me. I'll handle those calls. Awesome. You're not on Twitter, I take it.
No, I'm not on Twitter.